We pass now over the devil's alleged possessions, speaking in tongues, convulsions, and come to modern times. Though the majority of witches in the past were poor women, today they may simply be those taken in by nursing homes or charitable organizations. During the witchcraft era, it took very little to become suspect. A single strange trait, an odd quirk, a noticeable feature, was enough to bring a woman to court. Let us not believe that the devil belongs solely to the past. The woman who plays Maria the Weaver once looked up at me during a break in filming and said, "The devil is real. I have seen him sitting by my bedside." In 1921, a woman believed she could distinguish the devil by sight and recorded her encounters in this very book. While we now explain such beliefs as nervous exhaustion or hysteria, their roots remain entangled in the fears of the unknown. I have known a young woman who often walked in her sleep, haunted by her fears. Like the witches who were said to be controlled by the devil, this woman, both awake and asleep, found herself compelled to strike matches, driven by a mysterious craving. The terror of fire followed her, after a blaze had once consumed her home. Isn't there something witch-like in the way this sleepwalker moves? Doesn't she remind us of the medieval nun, forced by the devil to act against her will? These possessions, these sleepwalking daisies, are part of what we now call hysteria, a condition that still connects the modern woman to the medieval witch. In the past, it was the devil who visited the witch in her bed at night. Today, it might be a famous actor, a beloved clergyman, or a renowned doctor who haunts the sleep of the hysteric. In the Middle Ages, it was said the devil marked witches with invisible signs, spots where they could feel no pain. The executioner would test these marks, and if the woman showed no reaction, her guilt was certain. Today, this insensitivity is recognized as a symptom of hysteria.
No, sir, I do not feel you touching my back at all.
Yes, as I suspected, your daughter suffers from hysteria.
And thus the poor hysterical witch of the Middle Ages finds herself in conflict with a different kind. This broken woman may now plead not to be detained in a mental institution, but the echoes of her suffering remain the same.
I do not know what I am doing. An unknown power compels me to commit these terrible acts.
The broken woman has stolen before, a book in Russian which she cannot read. The broken woman does not know why she does it. Centuries have passed, and the Almighty no longer sits in his 10th sphere, watching over us with fire and brimstone. We no longer sit in church, staring terrified at frescoes of demons. The witch no longer flies over rooftops on her broomstick. But is superstition truly gone from our world? Is there any real difference between the sorceress and her client then and now? We no longer burn the old and poor, but do they not still suffer in bitter isolation? And the woman we call hysterical, alone and unhappy, does she not remain a mystery to us, a puzzle we have yet to solve? Today we comfort ourselves with the notion that the clinic's gentle showers have replaced the torture of medieval times. But for the women who are detained here, is the suffering any less? The end.